people, what's up? I'm back. Alright, today we're going to be reviewing some stuff because we're getting ready for a big old major test. I know you're excited about that. So we're going to review some stuff and hopefully this will help you get ready. Alright, are you ready? Aim, fire. Here we go. Boom! Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is angles, and I'm going to go through all this stuff real fast. So we've talked about 4 types of angles. Of course, we've got acute, we've got right, we've got obtuse, and we've got straight. Those are the basic ones we had talked about before, and I'm not going to run through all those. You can look back at your notes and see all that if you want to. So those are just the basics, right? Acute, right, obtuse, and straight. Now the 2 things that I do want to add, actually 3 things over here, I want to add to those, of course, are complementary, supplementary, and vertical. Alright, so those are the angle choices there that I want you to have added into your vocabulary list. So remember, complementaries have a certain sum, supplementaries have a certain sum, and I'm going to draw this little picture here for the verticals. Alright, so we'll run through all that real fast, and then we'll do a couple problems. Alright. So complementaries, remember complementaries have 1 p, okay, that's one way to think about it. So since complementaries have 1 p, that means they have a sum of 90. Supplementaries, of course, have 2 p's, so that would be 90 and 90. So since it's got 2 p's there, 90 and 90, means supplementary is 180. Alright? Alright, so when you come down to vertical, okay, these ones that are directly across from each other, like these 2, they're going to be congruent. So if you knew that this was 80 degrees, for example, this one down here would be 80 degrees. Alright, and automatic would mean if you cover that up with your hand right there, okay, if that's 80, those 2 right there together, they're supplementary. So 180 minus 80 means this one's got to be 100. And therefore, if that one's 100, that one straight across from it over there is also 100, because vertical angles are congruent. Alright, and don't forget the little congruent symbol is that one with the little wavy line over the top of it. So the equal sign with the little wavy line, okay, that means congruent. Equal sign with wavy line. Equal sign with wavy line, that means congruent. Yeehaw! Alright, now, let's draw a couple of these little pictures down here and just run through one of these real fast. Okay, so let's say you had one like this, 6x minus 12 on that one, and then 3x minus 8 on that one. Alright, so when you see that straight line, of course, that automatically means supplementary, because a straight line or a straight angle is 180 degrees. Okay, so that would be 9x, and then minus 12, and minus 8 would be minus 20 equals 180. So you got to write your little equation like that. You're going to add 20 to both sides. Then you got 9x equals 200. And then, of course, we're going to go 200 divided by 9. 200 divided by 9.22.
Alright, can y'all see that alright? 22.22. Alright, so x is 22 and 22 hundredths. Then I'm going to come right here and I'm going to put it in there. So I got to do 6 times 22 and 22 hundredths minus 12, and then 3 times 22 and 22 hundredths minus 8. Alright, let me stick it right there. Here we go. 6 times 22 and 22 hundredths minus 12 means that one is 121.32 degrees. Alright, and then 3 times 22.22 minus 8, that one's 58.66 degrees, so we're going to the hundredths place, right? 58.66. Alright, I've got my 2 angles there, so I've got that one and that one. If you add them up, let's see, if I add that to 121.32, that is really close to 180, 179.98. Okay, when I add the 2 of them up, almost 180, so I know I've got it right. Alright, so remember, that is supplementary. Complementaries, of course, are the ones that are 90, so those are the ones that are going to have a right angle in them. And so that is about all I can tell you about that. Remember, complementaries will have that right angle in the corner. That's just a little review of complementary, supplementary, vertical. Remember, vertical ones are straight across from each other, and vertical angles
are congruent. All right, I'm trying to keep everything to 5 minutes, so let's go to the next topic. All right, so let's talk about triangles for a minute. All right, so in our triangle discussions, we've talked about ways to classify them by side and angle. Okay, so the way you classify them by sides, of course, there are 3 options. And those 3 options are equilateral. That's if all the sides and angles are the same. Isosceles if 2 of them are the same. And scalene if none of them are the same. So that's all, 2, none. Okay? So if all the angles are the same, all the sides are the same, it's equilateral. If 2 of the sides and angles are the same, it's isosceles. If none of the stuff is the same, no angles are the same, no sides are the same, it's scalene. Alright, angle-wise, of course, same stuff we started out the lesson with. It can be a acute triangle. It can be a right triangle. It can be an obtuse triangle. Key to that is if it's an acute triangle, all 3 are less than 90 degrees. If it's a right triangle, it can have exactly 1 right angle. And if it's obtuse triangle, it has exactly 1 over 90. Exactly 1 greater than 90. I guess I need to do it that way. Alright. Alright, so let's do a triangle down here, and let's just do one for practice, see what we come up with. So let's say we've got this one. Alright, so right here we've got 6x plus 10, then we got 4x plus 5, and we got another 4x plus 5. For all you brainiacs in the room, of course, since you see those 2 right there, they're going to be the same, so that automatically means 2 of them are going to be the same. So hopefully you know the word that goes with that, because 2 of the angles are going to be the same, 2 of the sides are going to be the same, so we're going to check that in a second. Alright. So the other thing that we needed to learn, of course, was that the sum of all triangles is 180, okay? So 4x plus 4x is 8x. 8x plus 6 is 14x. 10 plus 5 is 20. Again, I don't know how I keep coming up with all these 20s. And again, the total for any triangle is 180 degrees. So I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. That leaves me 14x equals 160. Now I'm going to divide by 14. So let me get my calculator and see that that is 160 divided by 14. Going to the hundredths place again, that would be 11 point. Oh, okay. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me scoot that over. Alright, so since there is an 8 right there in the thousandths place, that means I'm going to round that to a 3. So it'd be 11.43. 11.43 going to the nearest hundredths place. Alright, so let's stick it in there now, the 11.43, and see what we come up with. Alright, so 6 times 11.43 plus 10, and that is 78.58. I don't know if y'all can see that. 78.58 for this one. 78.58 degrees for that one. Alright, of course, these 2 over here are going to be the same, so let's see what one of those is going to be. 4 times 11.43 plus 5, 50.72. Alright, so this one's 50.72. This one's 50.72. Alright. Now, are any of these angles right angles? No. Are any of these angles obtuse angles? No. All of these are less than 90, right? That's less than 90, less than 90, less than 90. So that means to do this one is going to be acute. And since 2 of them are the same, isosceles. So this is acute and isosceles. Acute and isosceles. All the angles are less than 90, so it's acute. 2 of them are the same, so that means 2 of the sides are the same. And when 2 of them are the same, it's isosceles. Alright, we're staying right on track here. That's 5 minutes on that. So that's a little review about triangles. So that means, of course, we're down to our last topic here, which is circles. So let's come right here and talk about circles for a minute. Alright, So if you remember when we talked about circles, we've got a couple different things we need to know here. The one that goes halfway across versus the one that goes all the way across to the middle, okay? So this, of course, is called the radius. This one that goes all the way across, of course, is called the diameter. To get the area of a circle, you do pi times radius squared. To do the circumference of a circle, you do pi times diameter, okay? So those are your two really big formulas you need to have memorized. For area, it's pi times radius squared. For circumference, it's pi times diameter. And let's use some of those here as we look at those. All right, so let's say we've got one like this. It's giving you a line that goes all the way across. And that's, of course, that's the diameter, right? And let's say that they're telling you that that is 25 centimeters. All right, so let's do the circumference here, the area here. Alright, so of course over here I'm going to do pi times diameter. Over here I'm going to do pi times radius squared. So since I know the diameter is 25, make sure again you use pi for 3.14. Don't use the pi button, so that'd be 3.14 times 25. So no pi buttons, right? So I'm going to use 3.14 for pi times 25, and that is 78.5 centimeters for the circumference, okay? So that means if you nibbled your way around, if this was a pizza, you just nibbled your way around the edge of the pizza out there where the crust is, that would be 78.5 centimeters. All right, the area, of course, is where all the toppings and sauce and all that good stuff, the cheese and everything's in here. So we got to do pi times, now we don't know the radius at the moment, so to get that you got to take half of 25. And what is half of 25? That would be 12.5 squared. Okay, so I got to do pi times 12.5 squared. Let's see. I'll do it and then I'll move it up here. So 3.14 for pi times 12.5. Hit your little squared button. Okay. Now, if I scoot that up, maybe you can see it. All right. And so the area of the pizza would be 490.63, and that would be centimeters squared. All right, so that's the area. All right, so that's around the outer edge where the crust is. This is where the cheese, sauce, toppings, and all that stuff are. All right, so there's that one. And let's do one final thing, okay? If I give you the circumference, and I want you to work it backwards, inches.
Okay. So let's say the circumference is 250 inches. Of course, that would be around the outer edge of that, okay? So you got 3 steps to work it backwards. Step 1, step 2, step 3. All right. So the first step, of course, is you got to take that and you got to divide it by pi. And then, of course, if you do 250 divided by pi, that gives you 79.62. 79.62. And that gives you the diameter of the circle when you do that. Okay? All right. And then, to go from there, you need to take the diameter and divide it by 2, or get half of it, okay? So 79.62 divided by 2 is 39.81, and that is the radius of the circle, okay? So we take the diameter, we cut it in half, that gives us the radius, all right? And of course our last step down here, of course our area formula is pi times radius squared. So now we're going to do 3.14 for pi, and then we'll take our answer we got right there, the 39.81, and square that. All right, so we're doing pi times radius squared. So pi times 39.81 squared is an area of 4,976.39, because there's a 5 right there. I got to round that up to a 9. Can y'all see that? There you go.
Since there's a 5 in the thousandths place right there, I gotta round it up to a 9. Alright, I'm right on time. 15 minutes is what I wanted to do. So, hopefully this helps you out. Okay, this is, you know, just the review part number 1 about angles, triangles, and circles. Angles, triangles, and circles. So hopefully that helps you out. If you got any questions, email me. You know what it is. Hit me up, let me know. Hope you're having a great day, and we're getting ready for the test, so just beware. It's coming here in a couple days. Be prepared. Peace. Be smart, be safe, and be careful. Alright? And we'll talk to you next time. Adios. Sayonara. Hasta la vista. Ciao for now.